All right.
With these camps,
Yeah.
how much does the daily practices, how much does that affect your evaluation, or is it primarily the games where you're really learning about these guys?
No, I learn a lot in practice. If they pay attention to details, and we try to implement like details, stick details, and little things like hand on a swivel when they retrieve pucks. You know, that's and you can pick up guys that listen. And for me, it starts in practice and the way they, again, they take advantage, not advantage, but they really retain what we're telling them before practice.
We've talked a lot about, the forwards with Michkov and Luchenko and the defense with McDonald and Bong. What has your read been on the two goalies that you've seen during this camp?
Really impressed by Carson. Like he's so big. Like, you watch him in the net and he plays big. And he made a couple saves today. Like it was on the other end. I'm not sure you guys noticed, but I'm impressed. I don't know anything about goalies. I really don't. I want them to stop the puck. That's all I care about. But he had a great summer camp with Team Canada. I watched those games. And he's just building on that, and he looked great in the past week. And hopefully he's going to look great in main camp.
He said to us that he's been taking the mental side of the game pretty seriously for the last 3 or 4 years.
Is that what I said? I don't think I said that.
No,
oh, he said that. I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. I'm like, whoa. Don't put words in my mouth.
Carson said that.
Okay.
3 or 4 years he's been pretty serious about the mental side. Is that pretty impressive? I think he's only 19.
Yeah, it is to recognize that he can get help out there, and he went and get it, and that, in today's world it takes a brave person to do that. And it's not even about, I'm sure he didn't have any issues, but he recognized that he had some weakness mentally with his game, and he went out and asked for help. I think it shows a lot that the kid wants to succeed. They're so worried about skill work on the ice and, technique and everything, but your biggest skill is your mind. It doesn't matter what you do in life. If you're a strong person that believes in what you do, you'll succeed. And he realized that he needed help, and good for him.
Obviously, there were a lot of eyes on, Michkov, Luchenko, the bigger names.
Yeah.
But in terms of the guys who maybe people weren't paying attention to as much, who really jumped out and impressed you?
Well, for me, like selfishly, I'm keeping an eye on the guys that played for me last year. And I said that earlier, like some of those kids had a setback season. And we had a great talk at the end of the year, and I'm looking for if they did the right thing in the summer. And so far, like I can go down the list, like, Grants, Desnoyers, Wisdom, all those guys seem to, Andrea, all those guys look great in camp. But again, it's rookie camp. So we'll see Thursday. Well, not really Thursday. They're all going to suffer on Thursday. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll have a better idea if how they look compared to the other guys.
What's it like watching that rope test from your
I love it. No, I'm kidding. It's hard. I've been around the game a long time, and I've never seen a hard test like that. And I had Mike Keenan as my first coach, so you would think that I did, but nothing like that. Like Mike had his own way of testing us, but this is another level. But guys are nervous, and I get it, but it's good. It pushed the guys in towards he's a smart coach. He's been around the game for a long time, too, and I don't think he cares so much about the timing of it, like how much, what's their test results. I think he's looking at the guys that quit, and it tells him a lot what kind of character they are. And if I have any advice for those kids, don't quit, just keep pushing. Even when your legs are like, we're done, just keep pushing, and that's what he's looking for.
As an NHL player, I mean, that's a big thing to train for, but how do you balance training for that specific thing versus the season itself?
Well, it goes hand in hand. Whatever you do in the gym, you can carry that on the ice. But I'm sure, and I know those guys are working at it, like, in the summer skating. But it's one thing to do it in the summer, but when you had the stress of training camp, the stress of everybody watching, it adds some stress to your body. And, you almost feel a little bit heavier when you skate. But they're prepared. I'm sure they learned. That's towards third year here, so I'm sure they learned from the first year to last year, and those guys are going to be better this year. The veterans I'm talking about. The kids are in for a treat, though. Like, they can prepare as much as they want, but when the whistle blows, it looks very very hard.
What's the hardest thing, like Mike Keenan had you do maybe that?
It's
made
too
you
long.
nervous, but did you have anything similar where you were a little
Just
nervous?
dealing with Mike, I was nervous enough. The old guys in the back there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mike was a special man. I'm looking at you. I know, I did too. Yeah, it's but it's different. Mike was playing mind game. Torts doesn't. He was I can say that in 2024 I can say nuts, but Torts is not a mind game. It's like, you know, be ready for camp. Don't quit on me, and everything's going to be fine.
Lappy, when we talked to Brent Flair on Sunday, he mentioned that there were a few guys that he was going to have a conversation with after the rookie games because he didn't necessarily like something about what they did. I'm not asking for the names, although if you want to tell me, that's great. But more asking you, like, what inspires those kind of conversations? What is it that maybe you guys didn't like about certain guys?
Well, there's all different. Yeah, there's guys. I don't know what he's talking about. I have my own list, which I won't tell you. But it's all different. If the guy's a goal scorer and he's a playmaker and didn't make any play, didn't involve himself in the game, well, that's a talk. If you're a physical player and you're a guy who's supposed to crush people and you didn't touch your soul, well, that's something to talk about. But for me, if you're a player and sometimes you're so sensitive, well, he told me that. Well, we're talking to those kids. We're letting them know what we expect of them because we care about them. You know, if we didn't care about them, we wouldn't talk to them. So I think if Flair's got his own list and he's going to talk to those kids before main camp, they should take that as not a compliment. They should take that we care about them and we didn't give up on them. And I think he's going to do that or he did it for the right reason.